Good early afternoon. We are live. I'm Andy Andrews. You guys need to shift your chairs. Yeah. Hey, Lance. So, just making sure everybody can see here in the studio audience. I have the hiccups. I can't believe it. But I do. So we'll see how that goes. We're glad you guys are here. It is getting cooler. It has been raining like crazy the past couple of days. Martin Simmons, nice talk with the author with the incredible beard. Yep. That just came out today. The podcast with Sean Dietrich, Sean of the South, and man, he does have that is a thick daggone beard. So, but great guy, new book out, Dave Timmons. We're glad you're here. You've joined us. If you're visiting, I don't know why it has been so packed here at the wharf the past couple of days. It can't be because of the rain, can it? Because supposedly everybody's home. I mean, the snowbirds aren't here yet. The tourists are gone. So why is it crowded? I don't know, but it is crowded. And there's a lot of little kids that are not in school and they should be in school. What do I care? I didn't like school. And so if they can get out and talk their parents into taking them out of school and taking them to the beach, good for them. I say good for them. I'm 92 years old and I still drive by schools sometimes and I think, I am glad I'm not in there. I am so glad I'm not in there. Julie O'Neill, you joined. Jill Hepp, Shanda Danner, good morning. Belinda Herring. We have an unusual lineup for you today. And we're going to get you whatever state you're in, we're going to get you. Because we know that states are very proud of their sayings. I think for a long time, Alabama was heart of Dixie. And then that got squashed away. And then there was something about cotton, weren't we? There was something, land of cotton. I think that got done away with. Leslie Ann Tarabella, how are you doing? Best-selling author. Well, I have redone the state sayings. I've redone them to something that makes more sense, I think, to everybody instead of, Mississippi, the Magnolia State. We got magnolias here. Why do they get to have a state around them? I would say Miss America, the Miss America State, because Mississippi's the only place where they redshirt Miss Americas. Sandy Atkins, hey, from El Salvador. And you've heard the interview with Sean. So, all right. So I'm glad you know who Sean is in El Salvador. Are you ready? You ready for these states? We're going to start with Alabama. We're going to do this in alphabetical order. Alabama, we don't dial 911 and we don't fire warning shots. That's Alabama. I think we should make signs with that. How about Alaska, where your ex moved to disappear successfully and forever? Have you ever been to Alaska? I mean, Juneau, their capital city, there's only 3 ways you can get to Juneau: by ship, by air, and by birth canal. That's the only 3 ways, because you can't drive in. Sitka, one of the best known cities in Alaska, has 14 miles of roads. That's it. And so, man, you get lost there. Charlie Marlowe, hey, from the Pentagon. Got a bunch of guys in the Pentagon that are watching, eating lunch. Should have done something with Washington, D.C., but you guys live around. You're Maryland, Virginia. So how about Arizona, where shade is worth the big bucks? Arizona's too hot for me. I mean, it gets hot here, but that's too hot. And I don't care what anybody says about it being a dry heat. So is my oven. At 116 degrees. I don't care if it's dry, wet, whatever. 116 degrees, 116 degrees. How about Arkansas? Because Mississippi needed somebody to make fun of. Arkansas lost their coach. I mean, that's probably just piling on at Arkansas. But Arkansas has some great places in it. Big duck hunting place. Let's see, hiccups and sneezing. I learned to sneeze that way in church, by the way. Matt Woodall joined California. Come for the view. Stay because the rent won't let you leave. Man, people are getting out of California. I mean, they are getting out of California. Sonia, you got out. Yep. And she says, money. Yeah, I know. How about Colorado? We were outdoorsy before it was cool. Then it got cool. Now we're full. Colorado's an odd state. I don't get the water stuff there. I was with a friend, Colonel Bill Larimore there, and we were driving along, and he said, that's so-and-so's land. And I said, wow, yes, what a great little river there through his land. He said, yeah, he can't use it. I said, what do you mean he can't use it? He said, if he takes a bucket of water out of that river that's going across his land, he's in trouble. And it's all water rights that was done 200 years ago or something like that. But that I wouldn't have any land in Colorado. Shirley Greenfield Cold. Hi from Amarillo, Texas. 1,010 miles from me. Really? I mean, when you're in Texas, Amarillo's 200 miles from everywhere. But 1,010 miles from here. Connecticut. We are richer than Massachusetts. Connecticut's like this enclave. I don't think there's any poor people in Connecticut. Delaware, the corporate capital of the world. I mean, Delaware, they made the decision years ago to be where you could file, you get a business, go in there and file it for like $20 or something like that. And that's why they call, all these corporations that companies have, they call them Delaware corporations because that's the state that decided to make them. Anyway, I don't know anything about Delaware other than that, than Delaware Corporation. Florida, Disney, alligators, pythons, and piranhas. Yes, we are enchanted. Are you Disney World people? Lance, you're like, hey, not me, baby. I ain't got that much money. I ain't got enough money to park at Disney World. Kevin Tim Perkins, how you doing? Georgia, y'all come back now, or don't. We're fine either way. That says a lot about Georgia to me. How about this one? Hawaii, you can have surfing and the spam, and it'll cost every dollar you have. Whew. Man, Hawaii is Disney World in a state. I mean, when you got a place that you got to pay to get out, I mean, they have like, exit taxes at the airport. I mean, it's a great place to go to, but if you have to pay to get out, and they are big on spam in Hawaii. I mean, they have, I'm not making this up, they have, McDonald's has Spam McMuffins, in Hawaii. And you can also go in the grocery store, like our Publix here has sushi. They have sushi too, but they also have Spam sushi. Not making it up. How about Idaho? Idaho, we swear it's not just potatoes, but we're mostly potatoes. Illinois, a legacy of corruption. Do you know when I was doing college shows, this was years ago, and this was when things were going, I guess it was in the 80s, and things were moving from personal control to computer-oriented stuff. And the parking deck at O'Hare Airport, the day that they changed from everybody taking cash and doing that to computer and credit card, the day they changed, the income for the parking deck had been like this for years. It jumped $60,000 a day and stayed there. That's how much they'd been scamming out of that place. $60,000 a day. Indiana, if it ain't basketball, we don't care. That's pretty true. Basketball, corn, and gospel music. That's Indiana. Corn is the Beck's, of course, Beck seeds, and gospel music is the Gaithers, who live in Indiana. How about Iowa? I like this one. Iowa, yes, Caitlin Clark belongs to us. I couldn't think of anything else with Iowa. I mean, they've got corn, they've got big deer, but Caitlin Clark's bigger than corn or big deer. I'm just saying. Kansas, so flat you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. Kentucky, we're not good at football, but we win bourbon every year. You know, Jason Crabb's from Kentucky. And Jason, he's a singer. He's a smart singer, though, because he's a Kentucky basketball fan, but he's an Alabama football fan. And one year, Kentucky won the national championship in basketball, Alabama won the national championship in football, and Jason won a Grammy. And I'm like, could you just buy me a lottery ticket or something? You really seem to have it going on. Louisiana, we are a gracious lady with a dirty face. There's a lot of things I could think of for Louisiana. Legacy of corruption. You know, the General Woolley, who you've heard me talk about, he was the Special Operations Commander, the first one that I worked with for 3 years. And his brother was the insurance commissioner in the state of Louisiana. And the claim to fame was he was the first insurance commissioner in a line of 11 that didn't go to prison. Something to be proud of. How about Maine? It's colder than you think. I bet it is. Maryland, crabs, Old Bay, mood swings. Now, that's one of those political states. Maryland's one of these, political states, NSA, then Maryland. Massachusetts, we can't parallel park either. We just yell louder than you. I don't think polite when I think Massachusetts or New York. I don't really think polite. How about this? Boy, this will offend somebody. Anybody here from Michigan? No? Okay, well, at least it won't offend anybody sitting here. Michigan, mitten-shaped state and mitten-shaped people. It's probably funnier to me than it is for everybody else. But, if you've ever spent any time in Michigan, you see what I mean. It's the land of the offensive linemen. They have no problem recruiting up there. Minnesota, America's chest freezer. Mississippi. Not even the people in our state can spell it. Whew. I hope my wife is not watching. Polly's from Mississippi, and she's pretty proud of Mississippi, which somebody's got to be, I guess. You know, I mean, our our educational slogan is "Thank God for Mississippi." Because if it wasn't for Mississippi, we'd be number 50. Missouri, the show me state, as in show me how to get out of here. Montana, big sky, small population. These are kind of, they're accurate, right? Maybe not politically correct, but they're accurate. This one is a particularly nasty one for some people, but Nebraska, we used to play football. What happened to Nebraska? I mean, remember when they were just like, oh, I remember when I was a little kid, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Texas. I remember playing Nebraska one time, Alabama. We were undefeated, played Alabama, played Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, and they destroyed us. Like, they destroyed us. What happened to Nebraska? They're just horrible now. They're horrible. Nevada. What happens here is legally inadvisable. When's the last time you went to Las Vegas? Anybody recently? That used to be a place I enjoyed going, but that was way, way back in the day. Here's a trivia question about Las Vegas. At the Mirage, who was the first entertainer to perform on the main stage when the Mirage opened? Me. I was opening for Kenny Rogers, and so Kenny was second. I was first. I remember, they were building that area for Siegfried and Roy, and so just wandering around backstage as they were building this stuff, there was a door for stairs that went down and around somewhere, and there was a big neon sign that I'm assuming would come on when it happened, but the neon sign said, "Warning, cats in stairwell." So I'm guessing that when they disappeared them from the stage, they ended up in that stairwell and didn't want some maintenance guy to go, "Hey, oh, ah," which is what Roy eventually did. New Hampshire. Live free or complain about Massachusetts? Here's one. New Jersey. Smell that? That's us. New Jersey is not my favorite. What do they got? The Garden State? What's that for? New Mexico. Art, dust, turquoise, aliens. New York. We honk because we don't love anybody. North Carolina, we're the good Carolina. North Dakota, just above South Dakota. For a long time, I didn't know that whether North Dakota actually existed or not, because I never met anybody from North Dakota. I never turned anything over and saw made in North Dakota. So Ohio, where let me say that again, this time in English. Ohio, where Orville and Wilbur were laughed right off Wright Air Force Base. Oklahoma, the wind ain't sweeping down the plains for nothing. The weather hates you here. Do you know, did you know that the London area of England is the most active tornado place in the world? London? More than Oklahoma? Anyway, I couldn't believe that when I read it the other day, but I read it the other day, so it must be true. Oregon, powered by caffeine, wind turbines, and moral superiority. Boy, that's kind of snarky, isn't it? That's pretty snarky. Pennsylvania, birthplace of liberty, and the guy on the oatmeal box. Rhode Island, miniature state, barely a road, not even an island. South Carolina, we bless hearts professionally. South Dakota, we have half around. South Dakota, we have half a Mount Rushmore budget. Tennessee, Elvis left, but we're still here. Texas, the ego has landed. Boy, they really think they're better at everything. Not football right now. How'd you like to be Arch Manning? Just a regular, good quarterback. But not the second coming of John Heisman right now as a sophomore. I mean, I can't imagine the pressure on this kid. But he's being paid for the pressure. $450,000 a game. That's what he's making this year. Hard to feel sorry for him. Utah, Jell-O salad for lunch, Donnie and Murray on the radio, and 14 kids ready for nap time. Anytime somebody tells me they have like 11 kids, I always think, are you Catholic or are you from Utah? Let me tell you something. As an author, let me tell you a rule of the road. You know, there's autographing books. Then there's personalizing books. Don't personalize books in Oklahoma. I mean in Utah. In Utah. Don't personalize books in Utah. Because it's like, would you sign this for my kids? Sure. To Jason, to Barbara, Jill, Orville, Kevin, Mickey, Randy. It's just like, I mean, they'll give you like 8 or 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 names. Vermont, maple syrup, and judgment. I don't really know anything about Vermont. They seem like kind of a judgmental state. The only happy thing I know about Vermont is maple syrup and Newhart. You know, that's the only really happy thing I know about Vermont. Virginia, for lovers of historical reenactments. Washington State, California Light. Yeah, I think so. West Virginia, misunderstood, we hope. And finally, Wisconsin, where cheese is religion and beer is breakfast. We also have Wyoming. Wyoming, don't forget Wyoming, most people do. Wyoming, we have more cows than people, and our cows vote. So there's the states, there's the 50 states. And, you know, trying to figure out, I can probably name friends from like 35 of those states. Maybe more. I'm trying to think of a state that I can't name a friend in. Vermont. friend. I don't have any friends in Vermont, but nobody has any friends in Vermont. Even people who live in Vermont don't have any friends in Vermont. Eva Jean Hodge from Elkin, North Carolina. Bridget Lomick joined. Susan Fulmer joined. Whew. We're glad you guys are with us. The government's shut down. I don't know if you knew that. But if they don't get back together soon, Pfizer is going to have to fire 200 congressmen. Let's see. Mike Meeks joined. You know what we're working on? Just to tell you this. Mary Lander Lucas, glad you're here. We have been working on a thing for Wisdom Harbor about writing styles, and so we're showing how things can be written. You know, the same thing can be written in style, and so English classes and families are using this for discussion. But we published one a while back that was the tortoise and the hare, done in 7 different styles. We had the King James Bible doing it. We had Dr. Seuss doing it. We had William Faulkner doing it. And Shanda Danner says, "What does my shirt say?" Up in Autumn. From Sand Dollar Lifestyles right down here. So, what was I even talking about? You don't know, you're not listening. So what was I talking about? Writing. Yep, thank you. Writing styles. And so we're working right now, this is on my mind, we're working right now on, hey, can you get me one of those to read? I sent you that document earlier today. I don't know which one we'll read, but we've got the Boy Who Cried Wolf. And what we're putting out, I'll read you one of them, but let me tell you which ones we're doing. Let's see, we got the traditional version, of course, first. Then we have The Boy Who Cried Wolf as if Charles Dickens had done it, complete with period voice, social observation, Dickensian gravity. We have Agatha Christie writing The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Yeah, Agatha Christie. Then we have, wait, what's that one? Dave Ramsey telling The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And what else we got? I know we've got Nick Saban. We've got Edgar Allan Poe doing The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And we've got Donald Trump doing The Boy Who Cried Wolf. You want to hear Donald Trump? I can't do his voice. Or do you want to hear Edgar Allan Poe? Which one? Trump, Edgar Allan Poe. Everybody's wanting to hear Trump. Okay, can you get me Trump up there? All right. This is by Donald Trump, and it's titled, "Not a Great Guy Who Cried Wolf." Here we go. I'm not doing his voice. I'm just reading the words. There was a boy, a young guy, not too bright, frankly, but he was in charge of the sheep. A lot of sheep. Some said it was the best flock they'd ever seen. I don't know. I've seen better. But it was decent, and he had one job, just one. Watch the sheep, keep them safe. Now he gets tired, like a lot of people who don't want to work. He gets tired. And what does he do? He starts crying, "Wolf, wolf." He's making it up. It's fake. fake news, complete hoax. And the people, they come running. Good people, by the way, hardworking people. They show up, they care. And guess what? No wolf, nothing, total setup. He does it again. Same thing, wolf, wolf, no wolf. He thinks it's funny. Maybe he wants attention. Maybe he wants a book deal, who knows? But then, one day, the real wolf shows up. And it's not a nice wolf, believe me. It's not one of those friendly, liberal wolves you hear about. It's a tremendous wolf, very dangerous, very hungry. So the boy cries again, wolf, wolf. He's yelling, he's screaming. It's a disaster. But guess what? Nobody shows up. Nobody believes him. They say, we've heard this before. It's a total scam. And the wolf, he eats the sheep. He eats the boy. Total destruction. Worst ending you've ever seen. Very sad. Could have been avoided. Wouldn't have happened under my watch. I'm just saying. There you go. So this is let's do one more. Let's do one more. Let's do Edgar Allan Poe. And so, anyway, these are being used in classrooms all over. And some teachers are giving them to them without the names and saying, who is this? Whose style is this? And then some of them they're doing the style, and then they get to pick a person and write the fable in that person's style. Or some of them are writing their own fables. Okay, so this one is The Boy and the Beast. A Caution Most Macabre by Edgar Allan Poe. Once, in a vale of desolation where fog clung like sorrow upon the hills, there lived a boy whose mind was light, but whose voice, alas, carried farther than his truth. He was a shepherd, tasked with the care of meek beasts who bleated beneath a pale and trembling moon. His days were long, and the silence, oh, the silence, gnawed at him like an invisible vermin. In that yawning stillness of meadow and thought, he conceived a jest, a cruel, boyish jest, a cry of terror when there was none. Wolf! He shrieked, and the echoes fled in all directions like panicked ghosts. The townsfolk, decent and harried, came thundering through the mist, faces aghast, eyes wide with dread, but there was no wolf, only laughter. Hollow, mirthless, echoing. They warned him. Yes, they warned him with words etched in the stone of human experience. He who lies shall not be believed when he is most in need. Yet, oh horror, he did it again. Wolf! He cried a second time, and again they came. But the seed of distrust had been sown, and their brows were not as furrowed, their strides not as swift. This time they left with eyes that no longer saw him, but looked through him as though the specter of a child not yet dead, but doomed. Then came the night, a true night, the kind that drinks light from the stars. A howl rose from the woods, not from the boy's throat, but from the cursed throat of the beast. Not mere wolf, no, a terror older than tales. Its fur was shadow, its breath frost. He cried out, wolf, oh God, help, wolf! But the town slept, or turned in their beds, or whispered, he lies. They did not come. And so the beast came instead. It shattered the sheep with ease. It found the boy, it looked upon him with ancient eyes, and it knew. He fled, he pleaded, he wept, and the beast devoured him, not with hunger, but with judgment. The moral, if such things survive the dark, he who toils with terror shall one day find it real. Edgar Allan Poe, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, well, that's our blue plate for today. Joe Giles, howdy. I appreciate you guys being here with us. Appreciate you guys joining us. So everybody in the studio, go enjoy the day. Those of you at home, I guess get back to work. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever you're doing, go back to it. And we'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.